more, but sometimes they cover more. And so if we wait just a couple more weeks, we'll know what the new policies are. And you all who are, you saw the thing on Facebook about health insurance, anybody see that? So I won't go into the details too much. If you haven't, get on the Facebook page of LS, what do we call that?
It's the staff page. It's not Ella's Facebook.
It's the staff page. It's got the deets on it. So you'll see when you're eligible and how you're eligible. But we're covering 75% of premiums. The plan is December 1st launch date, and if you've been here for 60 days after the 1st, then you're already qualified. If you're full-time, we'll measure full-time quarterly in case your hours fluctuate a lot. But you'll see all the details on there and a whole lot more coming soon. So growth rate. Again, I want to just talk about why. Why are we doing that? Well, it's not just because we're nice people. It's a business move. We want to grow. And to grow, we need good people to come and to stay. And we need them to see this as their career. And so a part of that is offering good benefits. Another reason is because now we have money. Years ago, we didn't have money, and so we couldn't do health insurance. So now, because of the mission of the people that have been here for a long time, we've grown enough that we have money. And that is important when you're trying to pay for health insurance. Also, it helps us keep our mission, which is make this a place people look forward to coming to work. And that involves being a place where you know you're taken care of. Finally, it is the right thing to do. I always want to do the right thing. It is easier when you have money. So thank you all for helping us grow. Speaking of growth, everybody studies this chart diligently each week, right, Kelsey? Right.
I look at it 3 times.
Do you?
I made a copy and put it on my bookshelf.
You do?
I have it framed over my bed.
Okay, I wasn't gonna cry. I wasn't gonna cry, but oh, okay. Anyway, this is important to me. I hope it's important to you all. It means a lot because this is basically the money I use to pay for everything, to put it simply. And it represents clients, but it also represents our mission. It represents a whole lot of people who have done a lot of work to try to live up to an impossible mission, which is what? What's our mission? Yes.
You all tell us
I thought we were all going to say it together.
Be a place where people want to come to work.
Yes, we want to, and try. That is a mission we'll never reach. We will never get there, but we're getting closer. We're trying, and it shows up here. The last 12 months, this place has grown 19%. Richmond has. It means we did 19% more in the same 12 months last year. Pretty simple. If you can't understand this, it's not. I'm explaining it wrong. I have like the worst math skills of everybody in this room. I promise you I can prove it. But 19% of last year is pretty simple. The last 4 weeks were 22% over the same 4 weeks last year. What does that mean? Our growth rate is going up, right? It's real simple. No trick questions. So that means you all are doing a good job. You are doing something that is helping our mission. Now, here's the thing. I was talking to Dr. Lander, and she just said, you know what, sometimes we can't live up to that because we can't do it. We physically can't do it. And I wanted to make sure you all know, I know that. Sometimes never turning everybody away would like destroy your quality of care. So that mission is a constant striving. So we're doing things. One of the things is the new Advanced Animal Care Berea building. Yes. Me and Dad are taking out a sizable loan that is several times more than my home loan to get a new building. I'm a little nervous, but not too much because we are certain that because Dr. Hill has the same sense of mission to never turn people away, and yet is having to because she has this is a 5,000 square foot building. She has a 1,000 square foot building. It's like a little bit bigger than this room. We realized we could help Richmond and Berea keep our mission to never turn people away and be a place people look forward to come to work. They had room to breathe, and we had room to put clients in. So we are putting in a 3,000 square foot building in Berea that's going to cost under $1 million, just a little bit, but it will help them and help you guys. Because Dr. Connor called me one time and said, if we're gonna be available to people, we gotta be available to the emergencies first. Is that right? What'd you say? I don't wanna misquote her while she's in the room. We can't turn away emergencies because we accepted, every routine visit. And so, that 48% of our clients come from a zip code outside of Richmond. A lot of them are coming from Berea and south. So we're gonna put a 3,000 square foot facility, still smaller than this, never gonna be 24 hours, but maybe let you all focus on what you do best, which is urgent, which is overnight, hospitalization, crisis, ready for anything kind of situations. And then maybe Dr. Hill has spoken with Dr. Connor about maybe they could already begin to extend their hours to alleviate the needs of the people who just have a sick patient that's not critical or things like that. So that's coming. We hope we can break ground on that soon and get it done first of 2021. And make a difference. Again, it's about the mission. So our mission, we want to never turn people away. It means we're working towards that. We're even taking risks, financial risks. It does not mean we want everybody working more. We don't want that. And as you can see, we're trying to hire people to make sure that doesn't happen. Our client visits are down here, but I want to explain something. We're still up. I already told you that we're up. So more people are doing more of what you say. And we're doing more of the emergencies. Just maybe fewer people walking in the door. And so that's another reason for this Berea mission. So we have these new teams. You guys saw the video. We got Kelsey, Carrie, Tasha, and then even team members that are stepping up within the teams already, like Haley, who stepped out to get.
That's my bad.
You wanted to get earlier, and I said we don't have time, but we got these teams. Okay, we're restructuring the clinic. We've grown a lot, and so we have the triage team, the DVMs, the docs, the client services specialist, the hiring team, which is kind of like Carrie right now. Then we have the admin team, which is me, Jamie, Ella, Molly, background people that are Joe sometimes. Who else?
That's all.
And then treatment team. And so we got all these teams that need to work together. Now I won't go into that too much, but we're meeting and talking about how to do this. We're figuring it out. But basically, I'm holding these people accountable, especially this triage, treatment, admin, and client services team to get results. They're like team captains. And you might be asking, well, who's in charge? Like who's at the top of this pyramid? It's not a pyramid. It's a circle, okay? Who's in charge? You all need to talk to each other. You need to get advice from each other. You might need to learn things you don't know. But I want you all to make decisions. Well, who's really guiding everything? I put an M up there, but I didn't get to finish that. It's a long story, but that's for mission. The mission, it also reminded me. I wanted to tell you after, so you wouldn't know until I said what the M was for. You're like, what's the M? It's mission. So the mission is our boss. The mission tells me what to do. When I need to know which way do I go, left or right, well, what would fulfill our mission? And that's what I want our team leaders to do. I want them to think and not take a bunch of instructions and directions. And I want them to do the same thing to you. So they're going to challenge you. It's going to be a very challenging job if you don't already know. It's challenging. The growth in clients and support staff hours, I want to tell you about this real quick. In the last 5 years, 5 years ago, 2015, the number of staff hours that we could afford, not doctors, just support staff hours in Richmond, Kentucky, not me and Ella, I'm talking like just people on the floor doing stuff. We could afford 495 hours in a week to work in this clinic for 1 week. Q3, we could afford, even though we didn't all have everybody yet, 1,095 support staff hours in a week. Mm-hmm. Now, don't ever think you're not making a difference. 5 years before 2015, there was 0 staff hours in this building. There was a gravel floor. There was nothing in it. Something is changing. You are making a difference. And I got a little story I want to tell you real quick. Short story. This kid walking down the beach. He's with a friend. His friend stops looking at dead jellyfish. Kid keeps walking on, walks around a bend. He sees this beach covered in starfish that just got washed up. The tide's receding, the sun's coming up, the starfish are still alive, but they won't be for long because they gotta be in the water. So the kid just goes crazy and he starts picking up starfish and throwing them in the ocean in the receded tide so they can go back out. But there's thousands. His friend comes around the corner and says, "What are you doing? There's way too many starfish and there's not enough time, the sun's coming up. It won't matter." He's got a starfish in his hand, he throws it in the water, he said, "It matters to that one." So he keeps on throwing starfish. And so I'll tell you that story because I know you can't see them all. You can't get it all done. And even the ones that you see, things don't go perfect. But it matters to the one you helped. And unlike the kid, you guys, you're not alone. Because you got veterinarians that just got out of school with an average debt of $250,000. I don't know if that's hers, but average school debt of $250,000. That was not a good financial decision. I mean, I've heard that Auburn tells them that. They're doing it because they made a sacrifice because they believe in what they're doing. And you got people like my dad, who is taking much more of this risk than I am taking, I can tell you. And to put this place here, $1 million in debt, and the whole farm would have been auctioned if it didn't work out, taking risks so we could be here, so we could do it together. And then you got coworkers who could just about every single one of them go do a job that's easier. And they show up here every day because they believe in what they're doing. So you're not alone. So I know you get discouraged, you get tired. We're trying to figure things out, and yet I just wanted you to know you are making a difference. It's patients you can't get to, clients we don't see, shifts we don't even cover, but we're making a difference from that few hours to doubling the number of hours, and guys that take care of this tidal wave of patients that need to be seen while we're still taking care of our people. So I know we can't get all done, we can't all get done perfect, but I know this doesn't mean much for me because I'm not a vet or vet tech, but I don't see the everyday cases. I just see the overall outcome. And for what it's worth, well done. Mm-hmm. Y'all are doing something amazing. It's given us something to work with, and we're going to transform the way pet needs are met in Central Kentucky. We're going to do it together. So, great job. Does anybody have any questions?
So you don't really know how different things are now than what they may have been before, and you don't understand. Honestly, it's a lot more difficult right now. So I just ask that everybody continue to be patient. It's not always like this, and that doesn't mean it's always easy, but it's not always like this. This is very, very different from how we operated in the past, and I know that's been a big adjustment for those of us who are used to the old ways of the face-to-face stuff. And I know clients are much more difficult during these times, but just be patient, please. Try to keep your cool. Try to not get too frustrated. Try to see where they're coming from. Imagine sitting out in our parking lot for an hour and a half. That's going to make you testy. So just be patient. And eventually, hopefully, things will go back to the way they were before. Honestly, it was much better. I hate curbside. I hate it. It makes our jobs much harder, and it honestly makes clients much worse. They don't act like that to your face most of the time. They're much braver over the phone. And we can multitask so much easier when they are in here. So hopefully we'll get back to that. I don't know when. We are handed down mandates by the governor. I don't know if you guys know exactly what our regulations are right now. Technically, we are legally allowed to let people in the building if there are not multiples in the lobby at the same time. They're not crossing each other on the way in and out. Everything is completely disinfected in between. It's not feasible. So that's why they are not allowed in here, because that's just not possible with the volume that we see to do that safely. So if somebody says, well, so-and-so vet let me in, I'd say, I think Jamie or somebody told me that like 90% of clinics are still curbside only, maybe even a higher percentage of that. So we are not the outliers. This is what most of us are doing. But things are very, very different. So if we ever go back to normal, which honestly I don't foresee until probably late spring or maybe even summer, because they're saying we're kind of headed into a third wave, and winter's not going to help that. So we'll make adjustments as we go. And because there was no plan for this, we are winging it. And so you may be seeing a lot of changes. You're like, oh my gosh, every week something changes with protocol. It's because we're trying to figure out the best way to do things. And I know it's frustrating and it's hard to keep up with how everything is changing. But too, if you guys think of something, we are constantly taking ideas from staff and from, front desk really gets a lot of the bulk of things that may help streamline. If you have any ideas on maybe this would make things a little easier or a little more efficient, we can't take every idea, but I'm open to every idea. Anything we can do to make your job easier, make everything go faster, we're definitely open to that. On COVID still, I know we're all kind of getting used to it now. It's COVID, big deal. But it is a big deal. I know there's a 99% survival rate, but what if your grandma's not the one? So please continue to be careful. Don't get lazy. It is real. People are gonna die from it. So continue, be careful with your mask. Be careful what you're doing outside the clinic. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. If you have downtime in here, start swiping those keyboards and doorknobs and telephones and things like that, because the last thing we need is for somebody in here to get COVID. Even if they're gonna be okay, our staffs are we're all intertwined, and if one person in here gets COVID, it's probably gonna shut the clinic down. And that is bad for us, but it's also bad for a whole lot of patients who have nowhere else to go. And we've all seen how many other clinics just tell people no and send them here. All people have sometimes. So please be careful. That would be devastating for us and for them. So that's my COVID speech. With all the new hiring, again, I know this is what we need. We've been crying, we need help, we need help, we need help. We are so fortunate because we are getting the help, and I'm so glad to see all these new faces. And so on both sides, I want everybody to remember. So new people, I know sometimes the senior staff members seem frustrated and annoyed. And it's because you guys are getting thrown in there. I know Carrie's doing a lot of basic training at the beginning, but there is too much to learn here in a short amount of time to expect you guys to hit the floor knowing everything that there is to know. So just know we all understand that. We know that you guys don't know everything and that you're gonna have questions and you're gonna mess up things sometimes. And sometimes some of us don't react appropriately to that, and I'm sorry. We are all overwhelmed. And I just want you guys to know we appreciate you. We appreciate you so much. You're just gonna get better every day. Keep working at it. Thank you for being here and being willing to do this, because this is a hard job, not just under COVID, but in general. It's stressful. Our clients are increasingly difficult to work with. It's sad cases. Yesterday was just, I don't know, it wasn't even that terrible of a day. It was just a cloudy, negative day, and it's hard to not take those things personally. So thank you guys for hanging in there. Hang in there. It is rewarding. Senior staff members, I know we get frustrated. I know sometimes I get short. I know sometimes you guys do too. Remember, these guys need our help. They can't get better if we don't teach them. So just let's all keep working together, because whether it's new versus old, front versus back, okay, we all know about that. If we are not working together, it is not gonna make anything better, okay? So just be patient with each other, communicate with each other, understand where the other side is coming from. Because what we don't ever wanna create is an environment where, I don't wanna go in there today because it's gonna be like this or that. We want it, even if it's gonna be a tough day, we're here for each other, we're gonna help each other, we're gonna make it work, okay? That's my teamwork speech. we have been insanely busy, of course, and we all know that. But in our downtime, and I'm on my cell phone. But please watch the cell phones, and Jamie may have this on her agenda too. Just because we're not actively holding a patient or actively on the phone triaging somebody, every minute we're not in the middle of something is not necessarily an opportunity to pull out the phone and check Facebook or text somebody. There are a lot of other things that need to be getting done. Keep that laundry going, which I know the washer's broken right now, but keep that laundry going, yeah.
John Martin's gonna kill us.
We didn't do it this time. I really think it's an electrical issue. And again, yes, I do check my phone, and I'm not asking anybody to put their phone in their locker and not pick it back up until they leave. But just be aware we're here to work. We're getting paid to work. All of us are. That's our priority. Is everything else done? Is there a dirty cage I need to take care of? Is there something else that needs to happen before we kind of sit down? One of Jamie's favorite phrases, and I back it up, chance to lean is a chance to clean, okay?
Yeah.
And I agree with it. I know plenty of you all have seen me sweeping floors and cleaning cages and that kind of thing. With restraint, I know that's a big struggle for a lot of our newbies. Kelsey has done a couple restraint classes. If you feel like you are not doing well, please talk to her. Even if she doesn't do another full class, and I'd say she probably will at some point, we can still give you some one-on-one. Because I know that can sometimes be a source of frustration, either for the doctor or the technician that you're holding for if you're having trouble, but also we want to be safe. We don't want any of you guys getting hurt. We don't want the animals getting hurt. You know, we just want to make sure that happens. So continue to work on that restraint. And if you're having trouble, please ask for some assistance there. We're doing much better with the muzzles. I appreciate that. John probably appreciates that very much.
Yes,
When
he
in
does.
doubt, get that muzzle on there. We don't want anybody getting hurt. And it's a lot less stressful for the patients with these new basket muzzles that we got. They seem to tolerate that much better. So I don't feel like we are overly stressing them out by putting those on because they can still breathe so well. So don't be afraid of those muzzles. If you are not sure, get that muzzle on there. Again, some of you newer guys may not know, but I mean, we get bit. And that hurts. And it's also a workers' comp claim that we don't need. So please be careful. We don't want anybody getting hurt. So use those muzzles. And we've been doing much, much better with that, I feel like, with these new ones. With our appointments, I know everything takes longer right now, and I hate that because I don't like people to be here any longer than they have to be. It stresses me out to see their name on the board for a long time, but again, the longer they sit out there, more of them start getting more and more annoyed, and it's human nature. If you've ever even had to sit on hold to talk to the satellite people, just sitting there waiting is annoying. It's frustrating. So let's try to keep those appointments as efficiently moving along as we can. So keep an eye on that board. Please don't wait to be asked to triage a room. Keep an eye on that board yourselves so that we don't have to come find somebody to triage the next room. Keep it going. Even if you already have one room, if it is at a standstill, you can triage the next one again and kind of get things moving. Whatever you got to do to keep yourself organized, because I know it can get very confusing with multiple rooms, keep a notebook, jot down notes, whatever you got to do to just keep things moving. And just remember, again, I know it gets overwhelming, but get that room triaged, get some notes in, get the patient in here, get those charges started, try to keep all those things going, because I may be still doing another room right now. You can have a lot of groundwork laid before I put my hands on that patient versus waiting for me to come look at it and then getting your notes in at the end of the day, or then getting your charges in. And if you need help with putting in charges, do what you know and then have somebody look over it and, is this right and that kind of stuff. But go ahead and get all those things done so that we can get them in and out of here as quick as possible. It will cut down on some of the sassiness, I promise, that they have. And again, with clients, it's a big deal, and it's not okay for them to be abusive to you, but unfortunately, we do have to expect a certain amount all people are just not nice. They're just not, and we can't expect all people to be nice and easy to deal with. We're not all nice and always easy to deal with. Just saying. Whether it be here or, at other places of business and that sort of thing, we all get frustrated because we have whatever going on or we're in a rush. So please try to keep those smiling voices as long as you can. We had a prime example with Becca yesterday. This guy called. He was mad because his dog got his splint off again because he's not confining it. He'll never be back here again and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, okay, thank you, sir. Have a great night. He called back less than 5 minutes later. I'm really sorry for my outburst. Can I come?
Nice.
So, that's kind of the classic example. If she had argued with him, he really would have never come back. Right. And he would not certainly have called back and apologized to her. It doesn't always work that way, and I understand that, but just try to be patient. Sometimes if we immediately take offense, it just escalates things really quickly. So just try to stay calm as long as humanly possible. We do not have to accept abuse. No one is allowed to curse at us and that sort of thing. And if it comes to that, you can absolutely say, if we're going to talk that way, this conversation is over. If they do it again, you can hang up on them. Okay, you don't have to listen to that kind of stuff. Warn them, they do it again, we're done with this conversation. Because again, at that point, they're just going to continue to escalate. So, I'm sorry people are that way, but we're just going to deal with it the best way that we can. I don't have a whole lot else, I don't think. Please do remember those checkout sheets. I think that's helping reception a lot. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All
It's
right.
way easier to keep track with those sheets, because when we get done with them, we fold them up so we know.
Perfect. Know that they're
good to
checked
go.
out and that kind of thing. So please take that extra step. And sometimes too, they don't have the same number in the computer up here that the owner is actually in the car with. So those phone numbers are really helpful for them too. So make sure we're not skipping that step when we are getting those checkout sheets done.
What helps too, Dr. Connor, I've started doing, like when you use those checkout sheets and like you'll say recheck needed in 3 to 4 days. If it's not on the invoice, I do a write-in
Perfect.
and put that in there and make sure they get it. So, because you can tell them over the phone, but sometimes it's
Right.
gonna go in one ear and out the
You're
other.
100% right.
I will also add, Dr. Crane, I had done something
Oh, yeah.
in the past couple of weeks, just a couple of times, just depending on where I was in the building. I would answer a phone and put what they're driving on the screen, on their appointment, that and the phone number they were calling from, and she really liked that, so that she's not having to track down a chart to find the phone number
I
and
do
all
like
of
that.
that. So
Yeah, we
she
started
would
doing
like us
that.
to pick up that as well.
And if that's not too much extra work for you
It's
guys,
not.
because I know
It's
it is an
easy.
extra step, but if it's not, then that would be great. All right, I think that's about all I had. Did you guys have any?
It doesn't take well, maybe it takes 2 seconds. But, and I feel like Dr. Connor had happy stuff, and here I am griping already. But this is really serious, the safety of you all and your teammates. And remember, at night, there's so few of us here, somebody could be in the building before we know it. The Parvo door, I find unlocked at least 1 or 2 shifts a week when I work, and I know that's where they come in and out. Braylon's found it too. She's shaking her head. Pam always walks and checks them, and I think finally back by Carrie's office, the note that says, per Jamie, lock this door has helped. But just please lock those doors.
You all do realize the hotel next door is not safe.
Uh,
Very great.
You have to stop saying that. This is my neighborhood.
Trying to
I
keep,
used to live in the neighborhood, and Ella's wheel was stolen off her lawn.
yeah, off the street. They jacked my car up, stole my tire. So lock the doors.
Lock the doors.
Statistically, dental offices and vet offices are robbed more for controlled substances because there's less
Security.
there's less security, and it's not as controlled as like a hospital or a pharmacy. Just think
Good
about
luck,
that
everyone.
every time you come in and out of the door.
Fun fact.
Just to let you know.
All right, sorry, Jamie. No, that's fine. I'm glad we can laugh and talk about something serious. I mean, truly, I don't want you to be scared to be here. I want you to be aware that there are people that are not nice and there are dangers. So I don't want anybody to be scared to be here. I've been here at night by myself plenty of times, and it's fine. I won't tell you about the black Mercedes and the Suburban. She used to come every Sunday night. The car was from Florida and the Suburban was from Michigan. I wonder what they were doing over there. Going along a little bit with safety, I know some of y'all, most of y'all have heard me say, get up out of the floor, but somebody is gonna get hurt so badly. You can't, if a dog is showing you the side eye, if he's all bristled up, if he's growling, he means he's not gonna be messed with. Please, please, pick him up. We have a lift table. You don't even have to pick him up. Which is my next thing. Don't pick up dogs over 50 pounds, even if you can. We don't want you to hurt your back, or we don't want you to hurt the dog. Everybody that's tried it, when you get about a foot off the floor, what do? This, and they're gonna hit the floor. So please be careful. And use the muzzles. Dr. Connor told me to get several sizes, so.
And she did.
I got them all. And just take that extra second. I know you can carry it, I know you are strong, but grab a buddy. We have help now. For those of you who remember when
This
there
whole
was
half
just
of the
one
room,
triage
basically.
and one treatment, maybe we carried a dog because there was nobody to help, but there was 5 triage here yesterday. Nobody should have been picking up and carrying a big dog. Right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, now,
We on first.
Pet Angel, please. And they have gotten lined out.
That's like mom.
That was my angel, sorry.
Oh.
I'm gonna throw it.
Emily.
Not even my hormone.
Make
sure your mom sees this, Ella.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw up.
Does everybody know how to do an order on Pet Angel?
Yes.
Yes.
Who doesn't know how to do an order?
Raise your hand if you do not.
Yeah.
Click it.
Who doesn't know how?
I think there was 2 doctors and 2 people back there.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I can't see
Jose, you
there.
might be asked to do the Pet Angel form sometime, and Kathy, you'll definitely have, well, I mean, unless we start saving every patient. you will.
Oh, yeah.
Which we try, but, so the first thing you do is submit an order. Go there, John. And this is what it looks like, and you get to choose between private and communal. Does everybody know the difference in that? All you new guys?
Just in case you don't know what Pet Angel is, this is our crematory service that's offered here.
Ooh, I skipped a big first step.
Ah.
I assumed you knew what it was. So communal means they don't get any remains of their pet back, technically called cremains. Private is when they do get them back. So this is the first step that's super, super important. We don't ever want to have to call someone and say, oops, you're not getting your pet's remains back, okay? So let's choose private. We're gonna do a fake one. You'll see there's several blocks. Some of them are highlighted, others are not. You only have to fill out the ones that are highlighted. John's doing a great job. Put in the weight, and then go down to that blue.
Go down, Dad. You don't have to fill that in.
Sorry,
Go down to next owner information.
okay.
Thank you.
It said, I think I have to put in the date.
No, you just have to delete that.
No, there you go, right?
The top one, Dad.
All right.
So only the boxes that are highlighted have to be completed.
Okay, sorry, first time.
They got it.
Okay. See how first name is not highlighted and last name is? You want to still do the first and last name on this line because we have people who don't pick up their cremains. As you can see, the shelf is full in there. And 6 months from now, we may not remember who Fluffy Smith is. And there are 1,000 Smiths in DVM and about that many Fluffies. So just take time to put first and last name on that last name line. The reason we put it there is it comes back on the bag on the tag. Does that make sense? Okay. Next down at the bottom, John, please.
You have to probably make a fake first and last name, Dad.
Okay.
And that's it, on the last name box.
On the last
He
name.
wasn't listening to any of the
What?
instructions.
Next, I'm ready.
So it was supposed to say Smith John.
In the last name
Right,
box.
all right.
So our bundles for our private cremations come automatically, does everybody know, with the clay paw print? So you just hit next here. And then the standard urns are the cedar, the metal. This is a new one that they slipped in on us. This is rosewood. And there's one more. It's cherry, but on the paperwork, it's called Remembrance. And that's something that someone pointed out, I think Carrie pointed out to me last night. Why does this say cherry on our paperwork but Remembrance on here? So you choose one of those, and John, I'll let you choose.
All right.
And it automatically knows by the weight you put in on the first page whether it's small, medium, or large. So don't change that unless you got the weight wrong. But that's why that line's important. And just hit add, please. And now up at the top, I think is where it says next. Memorial products. So the most common thing that people get is a brass nameplate or etching on the metal urns. That's two different things and two different charges in DVM. Okay, so be careful if they've gotten one of the wooden urns. Excuse me. You get a brass nameplate. If they get one of the metal ones, it's etching on there. So put Fluffy. Okay, and down at the bottom it says add. They can get colored paw prints of fur clipping for $21, which we'll do for free.
Wow.
I just noticed that was on there the other day. This Loves,
That's good.
the Loves Never Leaves package comes, it's a picture frame that comes with a clay paw print. Okay, so if they order our standard package and the Love Never Leaves, they're getting 2 clay paw prints. One is in the frame. And they can order a colored one too, if you like. So we're gonna be cheap and not get any extra stuff, John. And do next review summary. So this page is where you really should take a minute and make sure everything is on there right. Like, I doubt Fluffy spelled his name F-U-L-F-F-Y. I know, this was a great example, John, thank you. But that's the kind of thing that can happen, and you know how important your pets are to you, and we want to treat every cremation like it was one of our own, just like we do our hospitalized pets. How would we want them cared for? Okay? And so then you just hit submit order and print it. But we don't want you to do that because this is pretend.
Yes.
And also, Jamie, so I understand that they had a COVID exposure. Are they, because then they came anyway, are they coming or are we using Bluegrass?
I had Bluegrass set up as a backup because Teresa had told me that it may be 2 full weeks, but she was gonna try to find drivers from up to Labs, and then, and then ordering. And then you get to choose your doctor. Everybody knows how to do that. And it says next down in the lower right corner, John.
Orange.
Oh, okay. I don't have my glasses on, sorry.
And then you can either choose from existing, if this is somebody that gets blood work every year, they're probably already in there. Or if you try it,
Here I am.
hey, see if John has had blood work before.
What's the clinic ID?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
We're just making it up and
Okay.
hit next.
I thought it had to be like the one for here.
No, that is actually the client number. Does everybody know where to find the client ID? Because we hardly ever use it.
We do need to add it to our triage sheets though, because now we need it for
X-ray.
Or it's numbering, we're up to like number 23, but yeah, that would be nice if it was on the triage sheet.
So I'm trying to click next, but it's not letting me. Should
You
I
have
click
to
add
click
name?
your name.
Click my name?
Yeah.
Finley, what do you got?
So is the client ID the one that's in your account?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's beside the client
The client
name
name,
and
so-
address at the top.
It's not the patient number.
No, not the patient number, we're gonna get to that next.
Oh. Hey,
Thank you, Ally.
No problem.
you want to stand by?
So now, let's say
Oh, there's
Tilly, so you can just choose Tilly.
Oh.
R.I.P. Oh my God.
And now you get to choose the test that you want. What are the most common two that we do?
Ellie, you might have to type that in again.
Yay! That was music to my ears.
Oh, wow, Dad.
Like, wow.
I'm impressed.
We love a text app.
I don't
Order?
know. Order.
All right.
And then you just preview the order and print two of them. One goes in the Antec bag with the purple top and the red top tube, right? Or if you pour the serum off onto a white top tube, which is what they prefer, to get it off the serum separator.
Lots of times they're not even in Richmond, they're either Corbin, Williamsburg, London.
Who knows where they're
Yeah.
from? I know we're in a hurry. I know people are grumpy. I know I'm the slowest one. If I can get it, the address and phone number and email, you guys can. So when you're on the phone. And does everybody know how to set up a new account? If you're helping reception out and answer the phone, can everybody do that?
Mhm.
Can I say one thing too with the addresses? So we send out monthly bills, Molly does, and there was a rescue
A rescue.
that had a
for
very large
autism.
bill, had no address. The bill got to over $2,000. They didn't know about it. It was coming back in the mail. I didn't catch it. Knew I tried to catch those and find out, and then it's still delayed 60 days. That $2,500 is money that should have gone into the quarter, and unpaid bills are the #1 deductor of staff bonuses. So in other words, the moral story is addresses, help bonuses.
Yeah.
If you're not motivated by anything else.
Yeah, seriously.
And also
So-
having to work on, like, what was the list, thousands?
700 was it?
It felt like thousands. I was having to find addresses for and update those in the system.
Oh, one final thing, without an address and an email.
Email.
They will not know that their vaccines are past due.
Yeah.
And the worst case scenario, dog bites a kid, that the person said, oh crud, I didn't get updated, and then what happens?
Stop.
Literally. So get the address, they get noticed, they get the vaccine, it bites the kid.
And email.
It's okay.
Email's key as well.
Kids don't-
Email.
For marketing as well. Just it's all so important. Just get everything.
Just get everything. Don't leave any blanks. That's the moral of the story.
Do we still have to put say for training, for the new IDEX X-ray machine? She's here, she was like, wow, you guys have a lot of people this morning, we're not gonna fit all back in the X-ray machine room. So she's gonna try to hook up her computer and go through basic stuff on IDEX on the screen. And then actually walking through the main points of our X-ray machine here, she's gonna take people back that hasn't already had, training already. So she's gonna do that in just a second. Main things that I wanna hit on is I was gonna introduce some new people that are coming on to treatment. So my daytimer is Miss Kathy Bryant. She's back.
Wave, Kathy.
Tuesday on night shift as well. So please make everybody feel welcome. So we want to make sure that they feel welcome, and if they need help, please step in where you can and help them as far as their new employment here. Dr. Connor touched on a lot of points as far as some things that I wanted to mention today. I've been hearing and seeing a lot of, I know it's frustration, I know we're going through a lot of change, as far as that goes, I'm trying not to get emotional, but I I care about every single individual in this building, and I want to make sure that everybody feels welcome when they come in here, and I understand that we have frustrating days, but please don't take it out on our teammates. Everybody's here to support each other. And when you see somebody having a bad day, please just try to step in and say, hey, you know, it's going to be okay, we're going to get through this together. And just try not, don't be a bully. Nobody is here to be anybody's boss. And there is new team leads that are presented to the team. They are not here to boss you. They have been given these positions that they have leadership qualities to help step up our team and jump in where needed. They're not here to boss you. So please, please, please be respectful of each other. We have this new sheet, and it is important. It's not just a paper that we're signing our names to. We want everybody to uphold these standards, because this is how we want to present it to our clients. If we are a level front when we present this to our clients, it's only going to continue to get better. So teamwork, leadership, being there for one another, no bully, no bossing. If you have issues that come up from either the paperwork that we're going to sign or issues in general, please come to your team leaders or upper management. Please try to squash all the drama. It's unnecessary, it's unfriendly, and it's not getting us to where we need to be. So please step up in those areas. I appreciate you all. And I'm sorry I got emotional, but it's just, all this is very, very important, and I want everybody to understand how important it is. So
Love you, Kel.
that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to introduce some of my new guys to you all. I've got lots of new faces coming on, and I'm working very hard to get all of them trained. I'm working on hopefully setting some of them free and by the first of the month. Babe.
Yeah, raise your hand, guys.
If you'll stand up when
Yeah.
I introduce you, just so that everybody can see you and
Stare at you.
introduce yourself and go right ahead.
Yeah, Faith, go ahead.
Woo! We've got Maggie.
Yay!
Jose.
Woo!
And we've got Savannah, who this is her first day.
Welcome, Savannah!
Did I miss anybody? I don't think so. We are missing Casey,
Yeah.
and then we are missing Alexis. They're not feeling well today, so hopefully they'll be back with us.
And these are
soon.
daytimers and night-timers.
Yes. So Jose is going to be nighttime reception for new.
Woo! Yay!
And then Casey, who is not here, she is also going to be our nighttime receptionist. So please help them out. We're going to be setting them free pretty soon, hopefully at least by mid-November.
Spread your wings and
And,
fly.
You know, I've been working really hard to make sure that they know and are prepared to do this job. But that does not mean that they know everything. So they are going to have some questions. Please step up and help them if they have any questions. Take initiative to show them how to do things they may not know. I've also talked to Kelsey about possibly doing another restraint class. I think it would be a good thing for our new reception team, especially for those nighttime people. And, you know, just to be able to help out in general whenever need be. So we're going to try to get that going. If you all missed any of those previously and want to come, then I'm sure Kelsey would be glad to go ahead and get you guys in for that as well. But that's all I've got.
It's really unique, and I'm just kind of molding and going and doing with whatever I've been asked and given to do. And with that, I feel like some of the triage that has been brought on might not got such strong structure as some of the new CSRs. And I want everybody to know that we are aware of that, and we want you all to continue to keep striving and doing the best that you all can do. But when I got into this position, I understood the importance of culture, and I understood the importance of if everybody here wanted a good culture, how much it would better the business, how much it would better our lives. There's just so much that comes from the importance of this culture. Because I will tell you, this day that we did this, I was not in the same mindset that I am today. With that being said, let me look, because my anxiety's got me the best of me this morning. we have triage, we have overnight triage, we have floaters, we have kennel techs that are all in our group. With that, I've been very thankful to have Haley step up and come to me and say, look, we need a stronger training system, because I haven't been up there since February. There's a lot that's changing, and I'm okay with that. And I was so thankful to have someone step up and say, hey, can I help you? And that's where she came into place, and it has been the best thing. So with that being said, so my nerves can calm down, can you talk about the
Come up
level
here.
up system that we're putting into place for them?
Cute socks, Haley.
Thanks, I got them from Tech Week.
Oh, they're adorable.
These are my cute socks, everyone. But so our level up system, sorry, I'll take my mask off. My throat's a little dry today. But so it'll be kind of an employee evaluation, and it's kind of like a quiz. And I know it kind of sounds scary and like spooky, I don't know.
Tis the season.
But it's not scary, it's not anything. It's just kind of to let us know where you guys are at. And then we'll go from there. So like any concerns, like during that meeting, we can all talk about those concerns and where we need to improve at, or any questions or anything like that too. So there'll be like 5 levels, and with each level you get a new responsibility. So like you'll be able to do compounding medications on your own eventually, and drawing blood eventually, and placing catheters eventually, and that kind of stuff. So once as we set that in stone, then we'll start getting going on that too.
Thanks, Haley.
What about the shift leads?
Also, we're gonna do shift leads, so, and I know I need to talk to people on daytime about this, but this is basically just someone who is gonna be in charge of the organization of the day. And so making sure that our blood tubes are spun and ran and put in the fridge, and that we don't have any left out before. I see a lot of fecals being like crystallized because they're out for too long, so that way we can get those read, because that's something that's really important, and that way we know when someone has roundworms and we can prevent that and stuff like that. Cleaning stuff, I know that's a really big one right now too. We want to make sure everything's clean, not only when we come in the morning, but also before we leave for the night, because that's just not fair to nighttime. They don't have as much staff, so we need to help them out too. And then also just making sure everyone's like positive and happy, and we can have a controlled environment during our days too.
Thanks, Haley. You're the bomb.
I had a boss a long time ago, and it really stuck with me, and it was, if everybody did a little bit more as a whole, we would all be doing a little bit less. So I really think with the shift leader position, just throughout the day, it is really just more about accountability for everybody, so that we all can hold each other accountable. And accountability is not a bad thing. It helps us grow, and it helps us be able to do these cultural values that we have wanted. One more thing, unstructured problem solving, client education and the importance of that. Can anybody tell me why client education is important? I mean, there's several different aspects, but
It makes our job easier.
Yeah.
It really does. But think about it this way. Think about if the doctor tells you to go and give the client this Panacur, this type of dewormer, or this flea and tick, but you have no background information of why it's important, and then that client comes to you and asks you, and you can't tell them, are you going to buy it? I don't think I would. If someone that is trying to sell me a product does not know how important it is and why it does what it does, I'm not going to buy it, because you're working for a place that you can't tell me what it does. So even in your spare time, or just having the thought processes of why is it important to deworm your animal? Why is it important to know about the intestinal parasites? Why is it important to do a heartworm test? That's a very big one when you're talking to people, and if you can educate them, they're going to listen and value your opinion of what product you are trying to give to them. And then as a whole, our invoices go up, our bonuses go up, our staff morale goes up. I mean, there's just so much that can come from client education. And if you keep that in the back of your mind and want to know why you're doing what you're doing, it will help you out in the long run.